We got the national championship today officially. I thought it was pretty cool that I did a poll, and out of 58 votes, it was split right down the middle, 50-50. For it could flip-flop either way for Michigan or Washington. I was going to do there's 4 teams. Here's quickly 4 reasons why each team could win. Texas, Bama, Washington. Never got that video out, but I thought it'd be fitting to do one for here's why I think Michigan could win, or here's why I think Washington could win. And so let's talk about it. There's a handful of reasons why I think Washington could win. They are a really good team. I'm getting a lot of vibes that they're the TCU of this year, but not in the bad way where they get blown out by 50 plus points in the national championship. They have the best quarterback in the country. They have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country and a top 5 running back in the country. And so they just check off all the boxes if you look at it that way. And so I think that this game would come down to Michael Penix. I really think that lefty, he's just going to sling it around the yard. And yes, Michigan's defense is phenomenal. They had, a great stop against Alabama on a terrible QB draw play. But this is Michael Penix. I think he's going to throw for over 400 yards tonight, and he's probably going to have 3 touchdowns on the day. Like 2 to probably Adunze and then 1 to Polk, or unless he throws one out in the flat to Johnson. But the dude, he's not going to get stopped. Nobody except Arizona State has been able to stop him. And so with having a first rounder like Adunze, the ball's probably going to go his way maybe 15 times, unless they double cover him like every single play. And then in that case, there would be other guys that are open. He is a generational talent. I think he's really good. And so give him, I think he could have 1 touchdown tonight. And then along with him, like I said, they got one of the best running backs in the country in Dylan Johnson. Yes, he got rolled up really bad at the end of the Sugar Bowl, which was an absolute terrible play. And it's like, oh gosh, he just missed the national championship. I read that article where he says he's good to rock and roll. And I think if Michigan can't stop the run and keep him contained in the box, then I see this could be a game kind of like the USC game a few months back where he had, 20 carries for well over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns. And then their defense. I would say their defense is the weakness of Washington, because they did let Texas back into that game and they let them hang around a little bit too long where it had to come down to the final play. But, I mean, just that defensive line, I think they're probably going to have 2 or 3 sacks on McCarthy tonight. If they can contain Corum and keep him in the box and make Michigan go one-dimensional, I said it in the Alabama game, then they'll be totally fine. Like, their defensive line is perfectly fine. They're stout. I think they're up for the challenge. And then this whole season, like if you look at it and you've watched either like in detail or from a glance, it's like whether it was the Apple Cup, the USC game, when they had to go play Oregon State in the rain, both times they played Oregon, both at home and then in the Pac-12 championship game, these guys find a way to win. And when momentum shifted and was out the door after Texas got the ball back under a minute, they found another way to win. Kalen DeBoer is a great coach, and they just find themselves in the situations to win the game every single time. And I don't think that's going to be any different tonight. And so that's why I think Washington could win. And above anything else that I've said, they got an elite kicker too. Like, their kickers put in a couple game winners. And so, I mean, if it's got to come down to a final kick where it's 32-35, and they got to, kick it for the win and tie it to go into overtime or vice versa. Like, I mean, I think he could totally walk off with a game-winning field goal, which I don't think in the playoff era there's ever been a game-winning. Yeah, there's never been a game-winning field goal. There's been a game-losing field goal like Ohio State last year. So we'll just have to see. So that would be my case on why Washington wins the national championship.